Welcome to BreitWerks. All right, so today what are we talking about? This is the transfer case in a Macan. This one happens to be a GTS. The end-all be-all thread on the internet, at least that's its self-proclaimed, didn't really help when trying to figure out how to change your transfer fluid case, or the transfer case fluid. So I just wanted to make a quick little video, put it up here for all you DIY guys that are trying to do this. All right, so transfer case, right? I've taken off all three covers. You see them down there on the floor. They have to get replaced anyway because a tire tread took them all out. But long story short, all three covers are off, right? The plastic one in here. And what you can see, this is our drain plug and this is our fill plug. So this transfer case is not like set up to be idiot proof. Normally you just fill it till it spills, right? Fill and spill, not on this one. So Porsche very specifically says 500 milliliters because that's also what you're gonna take out. So when you do your drain, you can use a little graduated cylinder, make sure you get 500 milliliters out. What'll come out of here is about 300. And then you're gonna have to take a tube, and I use this, whatever it's called, syringe type thing. It's a 150 milliliter syringe. And then I stick the tube down in here in the fill plug because there must be a baffle right here that's keeping us from getting the fluid to come out of here. So you stick the tube down in here, you suck it out, and you'll get your last 150, maybe 200 milliliters coming out of there. So you should have 500 milliliters of dirty fluid. Now, problem is, how do I get that back in? Well, first of all, this is the Porsche transfer case fluid. And my guess is that this actually contains the semen of Ferdinand Porsche because this bottle is 50 or 60 bucks. Maybe even 70, I don't remember exactly. There is aftermarket stuff out there, but because Porsche extended the warranty of these transfer cases, I think this one's good for at least 10 years. I definitely recommend you stick with Porsche fluid because it's a Porsche warranty and you don't want to do anything to screw that up. So bite the bullet, pay the extra bucks to keep your warranty intact. Now, once you have drained everything out, you can put your drain plug back in. You can get new plugs, and you can see what I've done here is I've wrapped them with Teflon tape. Just be careful on your Torx, right? Because this is soft material, this is soft material. So if you go too hard at this, you will strip everything out, and now you're buying a new cover, which God knows how much that costs. So a couple wraps of Teflon tape. This one's been running now for about 2 weeks, no leaks, so it's all good. Now, when you fill it, you're gonna put the initial fluid in here. You're only gonna get about 200 to maybe 300 milliliters of fluid in through that hole. So you still have 200 to 300 milliliters of fluid you need to get in there, right? We're talking half a liter. So how do you do that? Well, this is where I think a lot of these transfer cases are gonna have problems in the future because people look at that and go, it's a fill and spill. It's not. You get your first 200 in here, and then the Porsche workshop manual tells you fill the rest of it through the vent. And it's a little hard to see, but you can see that shiny spot there? That little guy is the vent. So he is the vent, and normally he has this black nipple on top of him. So you take that nipple off, right, just for orientation. Here's your drive shaft. You come to the passenger side, you go up, and right where my finger is where that fill vent is. Now, the hardest part about that is if you stuff a hose on top of that, this case is sealed. So as you try to force your fluid into the case, you are going to create pressure, and you're gonna push harder and go, oh, I can fill this thing, and boom, the hose is gonna blow off the top, and you're gonna get shit everywhere. Ask me how I know. So there actually is a very easy way to do this whole process under an hour, half an hour if you will. What I found was this little nipple attachment measures about 7.5 millimeters, and it fits inside loosely. It fits inside that vent that's up there, right? So you take it, you push it down into that vent, and now it fits loosely enough it fits loosely enough that the air that's inside the case can vent, right? So now you're not creating a pressure bubble. It's a problem. So you go ahead and you put in the remaining of your 500 milliliters. So Porsche is very specific. This guy, to change the transfer case, is 500 milliliters out and 500 milliliters in. And you're probably saying, oh, why don't you use a midi-vac pump or something like that? Well, this has the graduations on it, and guess what? I only have to do this 5 times, and I don't make a mess. It saves me a boatload of work. So this guy, pull him off, suck the fluid out of my container, and then I'll put it up in there. So just be careful, the 500 milliliters. I would advise that you buy 2 of these fancy bottles of Ferdinand's semen, but because they're only 850 milliliters. So you don't get 2 tries at this. You get 1 per bottle. So anyway, that was the challenge, and it was not clearly explained in the workshop manual or anywhere, because it basically said fill through the vent using a special tool. Well, okay, I found a hose that fit on there, and boom, it didn't work. So after a little bit of process improvement, we figured it out. Drain your fluid, drain more fluid, put your plug back in, and then fill this guy with 150, 200 milliliters. Otherwise, it's going to spit it out, and you're going to go, oh, how much fluid did I just lose? So I would kind of start with a fixed amount there of 500 milliliters. Other than that, not too bad. One other piece of advice, if you've never taken the plastic pan off that goes on the bottom of this, right? So this little plastic pan here, what I found was there was a tremendous amount of corrosion buildup under here. So I think between the plastic, you can see the white, even though I've cleaned this guy, between the plastic and whatever this alloy is, it's probably an aluminum mixed with some magnesium. There was water staying down there, and it was causing major corrosion, right? So lots of white corrosion. And this is a pretty important part. This is your transmission mount. So what I did was I just cleaned it up really, really well, and then I coated it with Gibbs oil and Bow Shield to kind of keep that from happening in the future. So like I said, this truck has about 48,000 miles on it, or 44,000 miles on it. If yours has more or even less, not a bad idea. 2 little 8mm screws, and this thing falls right down. So a couple things you can do while you're changing your transfer case fluid. It's not hard. These things are available on Amazon, you know, this tube. But again, it's about 7.5 millimeters. So I'm guessing it's an 8mm opening on the vent. So the 7.5 allows it to fit loosely enough so that you can get your fluid in without creating a pressure scenario where now you got to clean this whole damn thing up because you've squirted tranny fluid everywhere, or transfer case fluid everywhere. All right, thanks for watching. Check us out, BreitWerks.com.